game, Michael. 15 lead changes. What's your immediate reaction to that one?
Oh, we're bitterly disappointed. We haven't felt this way for a while, so it's we're clearly obviously very disappointed. If the game last week we half snatched it and got our last 5 minutes right, this week we got it wrong.
Yep.
And the moments that you need to be able to win those sorts of games, we had 2 or 3, 4 that we'd probably like back. Such as how tight those games are and the ebbs and flows in the momentum. But look, overall, I didn't think we defended well enough across the night. Like, that was the main thing, which is interesting because last week I thought we defended extremely well. So we'll have a look at that and how we can get a bit better. But just felt for most of the night that Adelaide was able to move the ball a little bit too efficiently. And their finish was extremely efficient as well. So, they kicked 16-4. So their shot quality was obviously very good. Second half, I don't know what the score was, but we're obviously inaccurate. I think it was 6-12 or something like that. So it's, in the end of the day, in a tight game, that often can fall to those moments and can fall to your efficiency, and they'll be just a bit better in those moments, and they walk away with the game.
You have been so strong in those last few minutes of matches, obviously in recent history, but can you identify, you said there's 2 or 3 or 4 that may have been affected. What happens there? Is it partly Adelaide also needing to just run and gun to get over?
No, not necessarily. I think some of it was in our control. Clearly, Adelaide you still have to acknowledge the opposition and their good play to be able to put you under some level of tension. So the game, we've handled those moments very well. As I said to the boys, you got to have some level of perspective. There's been a lot of, times when we've got those right, and we've got a couple wrong today. So in the big weighting of things, bigger picture of things, there's been a lot more to like than not. But that doesn't mean that, either individuals or us won't look at it as hard as we possibly can to try and get it better next time. But for whatever reason, that bounce of the ball went the other way today, and that's something we're just going to have to live with a bit and learn from and get it better.
How is Sard recovering? Because that was
hamstrings at the moment, but I mean, you're really asking me. That's what they've been subbed out of the game for.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on Monday and get scans and sort of find out what actually happens from there.
You get 16 up, 10 to 2 inside 50s. How much does that hurt you being those 2 rotations down where a lot of players from both sides almost get on their feet in what's been a really ballistic sort of game of footy?
Yeah.
Is that a factor at all?
Oh, they all weigh into the melting pot, doesn't it? Like, it's sort of you put it in, but we don't use it as a reason. We still had 3 on the interchange bench that we could use. A couple of defenders go down, so we have to sort of shift the magnets a bit to obviously fill guys in other roles. But again, I didn't really sort of feel like that was. If we maximised our moments, we don't need those plays, and that's just the cold hard reality. So. We'll go have a look at those. But, in terms of a more balanced profile in the way that we played, it was better. It was much better. In terms of the contest and the clearance and, trying to get a forward to centre, so getting your forward to centre game. But if I just had to sort of take a bigger picture of the game, I just never felt like we defended as well as what we could have.
Sam Walsh's impact, I think, 6 or 7 clearances, 34 touches, 13 tackles, which I think are 5 more than any other player on the field, is a reasonable return from a back row.
Yeah, incredible. His diligence that he's had over that period of time, he's obviously had to be patient as well. I think he's sort of, the realisation of just being out there and just very grateful that he's back out playing football. We're obviously grateful that he's out there. So, to be able to have our midfield mix out there with him in it, it's obviously very, very important. So, gives us a lot of drive. Obviously got a lot of footy. I'm sure he'll look at his game critically like he always does, and we'll see where it gets better. But we're obviously a better team with him in it.
You mentioned profile was better with stoppages and contests and so on. How much of a factor was Pitney and obviously Walsh coming back in?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and have a look at the vision, probably a little bit more. But we certainly got enough drive out of there to maximise their opportunities. So that's why I don't get lost too much on, do you win stoppages? And, the reality is we won stoppages today and we lost. So, so you got to look at the game in its totality and what you think you did really well. And, we're always looking for that really strong balanced profile. But, as I said, I just felt like there was the consistency of being able to defend for long enough for me was not there. And so when you get to the end of the game in 5 minutes and defence actually has to be the thing that stands up, it wasn't as robust as we needed it to be in the really big moment. So we'll just have to go and look at that and see how we can make that a bit better. And look, Adelaide have spoken a lot, or at least I've heard them speak a lot about their ball movement and how they want to improve it, and they've clearly gone to work on it. Credit to them to be able to hang in and stay present. It's a pretty critical moment for them in terms of the wash up of the whole season. But like I said, we'll go back and we'll have a look at it and see where we can get better. And we shift our eyes pretty quickly to GWS, and that's our next challenge.
Chera, what was with Chera with Pitney?
Yeah, so hamstring. So on Thursday at training, so he got tight in his hamstring. So we explored a little bit more the next day, and obviously later in the day we found out that there's a slight little strain there, so low grade strain. So again, we'll assess the timelines and sort of where that lies on Monday.
So being obviously close finishes all season in a sense, how do you feel like you're tracking more generally?
Yeah, we've still got plenty to work on. I think we've sort of taken a pretty progressive mindset coming into the season, and we always knew, just based on the way that the structure of the season was, that we probably had to go down that path. I was a lot more pleased with how we went about tonight. So there was more of our game together. The outcome's not the outcome we want, but in terms of being able to play the style and brand of footy that we need to be able to play, it was certainly closer to what we want. But it just shows that this competition's really hard, and we're seeing it week after week after week, and we make no assumptions. We take nothing for granted. We talk a lot about earning the right and stay really present to what we've got in front of us. And I think we've done that really, really well. But we've got to assess this correctly and look to where we get better, and also reward what we did well, and then we'll move on.
8 more scoring shots, and they obviously put a hell of a lot of work into your forward structure, especially around Harry and Charlie. How valuable is that, the side that sort of tried to do, put a man back, an extra man back and everything? How helpful is that to you guys?
It's not unusual to see that. That's quite a common thing, to be able to sort of see that defensive support, and whether that's directly on a man or whether that's not an unusual look against us. So I thought we navigated that reasonably well today. They've still had their involvements where they needed it to, and that's part of the system that we're obviously clearly trying to get better. But we're able to, as a result of being able to work our way through that, I thought we were able to stick to us a lot longer and sort of challenge the opposition. And again, if you look at sort of the game itself, it's we've had 21 forward half intercepts to their 13. So we're able to get territory on the game. We're also able to keep it in there long enough. But I think we could sort of summarise it by that it wasn't for long enough, and they had 4 or 5 minutes where they were able to put scores really quickly. And it might have only been a couple, but when they got them, they were able to kick them, and obviously keeps you in the game. So so it'll be something to look at. And again, as I said, we'll just look at it with a balanced view.
Yeah, Matt always says a shot a goal in that third quarter. It's a 2-point game. Any thoughts on the score review?
No, well, I don't have the benefit of being on the interchange bench and seeing what happened there. So right now, I can only assume they got it right. So if I look back at it, can I get back to you on Monday? Because sometimes you just that's where you do miss the replays, and I'll assume they've got the technology there to be able to get it right. At least you'd hope they did.
Team structure, why was the move to Ruck's made this week?
Well, Chera come out of the team, so that's we had to obviously get the rucks in there. But no, look, we've always looked at it, and you know, Pito's probably had the last couple of weeks got himself in really good condition. So he's put himself and put himself in a position to be able to sort of ask the question about whether he comes into the team. I think Tom's on his own has actually been really good. Harry obviously has been supporting him. And it's been something that we've been talking about, when's the right time to be able to do it, and it's so much a luxury, but it's certainly a different structure that we can go forward with if we need to. So so tonight we obviously thought that's where we thought we'd go with was being able to play the two rucks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
All right,
Thank you.
cheers.